Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're comparing the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road to the Trail Edition to show you guys which truck you should go for based on the actual differences between both of the packages. But before we get into this video, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larich Miller Toyota here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with both of the trucks. I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Mitch. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And also, if you want to see a tutorial for how to get the Tacoma into four-wheel drive low and to turn on the locking rear differential, I'm going to include that at the end of the video. This tutorial is mainly for the folks over at TFL, aka the Fast Lane, because apparently they don't know how to work the functions in Toyota products. So we're going to help them out in today's video. This is from one journalist to another. I'm just trying to help you guys out. I love you guys. I love your content. But anyways, let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 278 horsepower and then 265 pound-feet of torque. And guess what? The Trail Edition happens to have the exact same engine. Who would have thunk? Now, before we go to the front ends of the trucks, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. And also, this video is filmed inside because it's raining like crazy. I'm not afraid of the rain, but my microphone and my camera are definitely afraid of the rain. Now, the first big difference you'll notice with both of the trucks is the lights. So the TRD Off-Road has the fancy LED lights, which my recommendation that I've said for a couple of years now is if you can get these lights on a Tacoma package you are purchasing, get the lights. They look so much cooler. I mean, look at that. And they're also functional because they're brighter at night compared to the standard halogen that you have over there in the Trail Edition. Now, the next big difference you'll notice is the color. I'm just kidding, it's the same color. It's actually the grille. So you guys can see with the TRD Off-Road, this has the standard Tacoma grille with the Toyota logo there in the front. And then notice we have fog lights here on the front as well. And then we do have some skid plate protection underneath with tow hooks. You compare that to the Trail Edition, where you guys can see again base lights, but notice we got the Heritage Toyota logo, so that looks really cool. But something to mention is you can just do a grille swap if you want your TRD Off-Road to have that grille, so that's not too big of a difficulty. And then because it's got the Heritage logo, you actually have a different sensor you guys can see with the grille, so maybe it would be a little bit harder to do a grille swap than I just said. No fog lights, as you can see, and then we still have skid plate protection with some tow hooks there on the front end. Now, tire and wheel setup with the Trail Edition is 265, 70, 16 in the front and in the rear. And then guess what? The TRD Off-Road has the exact same tire and wheel setup. Who would have thunk? And I mean, seriously, like, look, Goodyears, Wranglers, whoa. But seriously, the biggest difference is going to be the wheel design. You can see the wheels in the Trail Edition definitely look quite a bit cooler than the TRD Off-Road. Now, a key difference with the trucks is going to be the shocks. So you've got these Bilstein shocks over on the TRD Off-Road, whereas with the Trail Edition, you got, well, non-name brand shocks. So you don't have as, I guess, off-roady shocks with the Trail Edition. And then something else to mention that's kind of really hard to see is the fact that they sit at about the same exact ride height. The Trail Edition looks like it might sit a little bit higher, but also this floor isn't exactly even, so that could be the cause of that. But either way, it looks like it's about the same. Notice the Tacoma badge here on the Trail Edition, blacked out. On the TRD Off-Road, well, it's chrome. SR5 badge, all blacked out. TRD 4x4 Off-Road, and no badge on the side. And then in the rear, you guys can see again Bilstein shock for the TRD Off-Road. And then we have something for the Trail Edition. Now, when it comes to the key fobs, they're actually identical with the Tacomas, which is pretty neat. Let's actually see if they both have remote start. So we're going to spam this one first. You guys like my elevator music? Okay, no remote start. Let's see if this one has it. Oh! There's a difference. So, remote start, no remote start. Now another big distinction is going to be to the bed area. So both of them actually have composite beds. You guys will see that in the TRD offer in a second. But we've got this lockable storage here in the Trail Edition. Have a full power outlet there and everything. 990 pounds of payload capacity, and definitely hefty. But popping over to the TRD off-road, you can see it's still slow, lowers down. But you don't have that lockable storage. Still have a composite bed though, so that's pretty cool. Now another key difference is going to be some elements on the rear. So look at the taillights here. They're actually different in terms of the styling. They're darker on the Trail Edition. And then you guys can see, again, more chrome accenting here. Whereas on the Trail Edition, everything's blacked out. So the Trail Edition has a sportier appearance. And then when it comes to the interiors, you guys are going to see quite a few similarities. So notice the padding here on the door panel and the seats. This is actually where there's a key difference. Look at like the bronze stitching here with the Trail Edition. That is pretty cool. Funky looking seat, that's for sure. And then comparing that with the TRD off-road, you can see the door panel itself is the same. I just got it wet because my hand's all wet, but the seats are different. These seats don't look bad. They just don't look as cool as the Trail Edition seats. And guess what? Both of the trucks actually have keyless entry, which you guys can see there. I thought it'd be magical and it'd beep because I put my hand in, but it didn't. Anyways, you guys can see here at the front of the Trail Edition, so you'll notice a lot of similarities once we go over both the trucks, but notice those windows are automatic, which is pretty neat. And we've got blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then you guys can see with the front seat, pretty cool with the design. It is power adjustable for the driver's seat. And then notice for like the stability control and then for the outlet. And starting her up. Ooh, rugged. But notice the material used here on the steering wheel. And then you guys can see we've got like our cruise control, lane keep assist, all of that. And then you got like the more analog looking gauge cluster here. It kind of comes with the Tacoma. And then popping into reverse, got a backup camera. Pretty standard stuff. You can see dual zone climate controls, and then we got like our drive line select, has 4-wheel high and 4-wheel low, and then you blind spot monitoring, your ECT power, and you guys can see the storage space there, and then cup holders, shifter for the 6-speed automatic transmission, and then we've got our differential lock there at the top, and then with the window, well, there should be a button right there. There we go. Yeah, power setting, rear window. Let's compare to the off-road. Bada bing, bada boom, different Tacoma, and well, the door panel, everything here is the same. Including, well, not including, it looks like this one doesn't have blind spot monitoring, but you guys can see with the seat, notice the cloth trim and then power adjustment there. Stability control still have the control for the outlet. Everything with the steering wheel, including the material use, looks identical. Yeah, the gauge cluster also. Even the door sounds the same. It's almost like they're the same truck. Backup camera. Still have dual zone climate controls, still have the rear window and everything. You guys can see with the ECT power. Yeah, this doesn't have blind spot monitoring, so actually technically kind of less loaded, but look at the shifter. Got that cool TRD shifter. And there's a quick look at the window, again, it opens. But notice we have a rear locking differential, but we also have, well, apparently a black screen. Now you can see we have crawl control in the multi-terrain select. So this has a little bit more off-road tech compared to the Trail Edition. Well, this is unexpected. I just looked at the window stickers and guess what? That thing stickers for $44,000 and that thing stickers for $40,000. So the Trail Edition is actually more expensive than an entry-level TRD off-road. So let's sum things up before I get into my tutorial for TFL on how to lock the rear differential with the Tacoma. Now, coming into this review, I assumed that I was gonna pick the Trail Edition as the winner because I assumed for some reason that it was gonna be less money. And after looking at the window stickers and realizing that the TRD off-road is actually less money, I'm gonna pick the TRD off-road as the winner. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the Trail Edition looks cooler, and you know, having the blind spot monitoring is definitely a nice piece of equipment, but $4,000 is a lot of money, and the fact that this has better shocks, and it has more off-road tech, and it has better headlights, I don't know, it's got like the same interior and everything, pretty much all the same features, like it's just simply the better value. And seriously, if you want the Trail Edition look, I can tell you that getting a different front grille and blacking out the badges is a heck of a lot less expensive than $4,000. So I still think the Trail Edition is really cool. I just think that it's strange that it's now more expensive than a TRD off-road. Toyota, what are you doing? But anyways, let me know which one you guys would pick. Let's get into the tutorial. And I guess before we get into the tutorial, I want to mention again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Laird Schmiller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with both the trucks. Check out their inventory in the description down below. Let's get into it. So let's quickly show how to get your Toyota Tacoma into four-wheel low and then turn the axle locker on. So four-wheel high is pretty easy. You just twist the dial and then boom, it's on. Now with four-wheel low, it's a little bit more complicated. You gotta put this shifter here in neutral, and then you gotta twist the dial, and boom, we're in four-wheel low. And then, wait, it's even crazier. To turn the axle locker on, you just press this button right here, and it blinks, and oh my goodness, the axle is locked. But in all seriousness, if for some reason any of these systems do not turn on, here is some pro tips. Four-wheel drive high, if it's not engaging for some reason, we'll put your Tacoma in reverse and slightly reverse backwards and then forwards, and if that still doesn't work, turn your steering wheel about 15 degrees and then go forward, and then it should engage. And that also applies to the rear locking differential. If it just keeps blinking at you for some reason, again, try reversing slightly and then going forward, and if that doesn't work, turn your steering wheel about 15 degrees and it should engage. But you guys can see there, all in one swift, smooth motion, I turned on all the systems, no problem. And again, look at this. I can turn it off, click the button, done. And then put this is still in neutral, shift it to four-wheel high, boom. We're in four-wheel high, shift it again, and now we're in two-wheel drive. It's that easy.